Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about Olot and the FC Barcelona game. These two teams have played together. It was Barcelona's first preseason game, and I did not expect to see a very big change with this Barcelona team. Of course, there's not enough data when it comes to analyzing all of these players that we did see because Xavi Hernandez was playing a tremendous amount of different players. So what we are going to be doing within this game is talk about the first half, the second half, and then just give the overall review of this game. Again, these two teams have played earlier today. They have tied 1-1, but we're not going to be discussing how Barcelona as a collective performed because, again, there is no data, right, when it comes to just how well this team has played. This was just a test run to see what players can make the cut and what players cannot make the cut. So we did see Rafa Marquez, who is the brand new Barcelona B coach, attend this game. Of course, he was going to be there to see whether one of his players that he is going to be coaching is good enough to be, whether it's in the first team or maybe in the B team. It's very important for him to attend. But many of us were excited. We were very excited because club football is back. We want to see Barcelona play every weekend, and finally we did see that today. And so let's talk about the first half, because the three players that I do want to focus on, even though we did see Dest, we saw Abde, we saw Aubameyang, I just want to talk about Kessie, Nico, and Pablo Torre. And the reason why I want to talk about these three players within the first half, it is because we need to make sure that these are three players that can for sure compete with the other starting midfielders, because we need to make sure that these three players can also make a mark. The three players that are in front of Kessie, Nico, and Pablo Torre, right now it is Busi, Pedri, and Xavi. Could these three players that we just saw, which is Kessie, Nico, and Pablo Torre, really compete against these three players? Could they actually reduce the minutes of Xavi, Pedri, Frankie, and Busquets? And let's talk about that, right? Because when it comes to Kessie, he did play as a interior under Xavi Hernandez. He did basically take Frankie's role in terms of the spaces that he was taking, the passes that he was making, the movements. He also made a cross to Aubameyang that almost led towards a goal. Kessie was literally taking Frankie's role. Now, just because Kessie is supposedly a player that has a lower quality compared to Frankie de Jong, does that mean that he played bad? No, he did not. I think that Kessie did play very well within Frankie's role. He was receiving in the correct areas. We saw him have a great connection with Nico Gonzalez, but we did not see the AC Milan Kessie, of course, right? Because this is, again, the preseason. There's not really much to judge, but he protected the ball very well. Every time the opposition was trying to go through Kessie, Kessie did not allow any player to pass through him. So it was a very solid game coming from Kessie, and I cannot wait to see more. Now, when it comes to Nico Gonzalez, this is a very important conversation to have, because the whole story right now about Nico Gonzalez is that Xavi Hernandez wants to find a brand new pivot to replace Sergio Busquets, and that player could be Nico Gonzalez. This is the player that Xavi is counting on. This is going to be a season where we are going to be seeing a really big transition in terms of who is going to be the replacement of Busquets, because Busquets will be exiting this club in the summer of 2023, and so it only makes sense to see Nico Gonzalez start in the pivot position throughout the preseason. So this is the first time that we saw Nico Gonzalez start as a central defensive midfielder. Like the last time we did see him play in this position and start, it was about a year ago, but Nico in tonight's game showed a great level. He looked very comfortable within that position. His pressures, his interceptions, when it came to those aspects of the game, he was a monster. The only problem I did see when it came to Nico was every time he did receive the ball and his back was against the opposition's goal, he did not know exactly who was behind him and who was going to be pressuring and take away the ball from Nico Gonzalez. Nico did not know that, so he looked very nervous every time someone tried to pressure him. He looked very hesitant on his decisions that he was going to make. So this is going to be something that is going to be very focused on moving forward. Like Xavi Hernandez is really going to have to teach Nico just how to maintain the ball, control the ball, how to know what's around you when he has the ball and his back is going up against the opposition's box. I do believe that it is just a matter of keeping your head low, being very grounded, focus on your own game, and just continue to know exactly what is around you, and then in the end you'll make the correct decisions. So if he does continue to get consistent minutes within that position and not ever play as a interior again, if he continues to do this for the rest of this preseason, I do believe that Nico Gonzalez will grow into this role. Now moving on towards the next player, and that is going to be Pablo Torre. Now let me tell you guys, when it came to Pablo Torre, this guy was a protagonist within the final third area. This guy here, he is some real talent. Like, he's very quick to react every time a opposition player is trying to sneak up on him and take away the ball away from him. You just cannot take away the ball away from Pablo. Like, Pablo knows exactly what to do, and he is always going to be 2 steps ahead of you. Like, we even saw a moment where he did receive the ball with his back going up against the goal of the opposition. He turns around, he nutmegs the player, and then immediately distributes a through pass towards Aubameyang, and this is what you call a game-changing player. Like this is the type of quality every midfielder does need. Like every time Barcelona is in a position in La Liga, right, in a moment, in a situation where they are tied 1-1 and you need that midfielder to surprise the opposition, this is exactly what we do need. Pablo Torre can give those answers. Like his ability to take off one player, leaving the oppositions extremely shocked, right, defensively, it takes off their shape. That is a great thing to see. The fact that Pablo Torre has that type of quality within him, I hope that he can do this once he does play with this Barcelona team in La Liga. I strongly believe that Pablo Torre can be a player that can compete against Pedri, Xavi, and Frankie and take away and reduce the minutes within the interior role. So it's going to be crazy, right, to see that this might potentially be the third year in a row that Barcelona introduces a brand new rising midfield star. So in the end, I do believe that Pablo will see the first team. He will be fully implemented into the first team squad without even being in the Barcelona B team, because you can just see that Xavi Hernandez does have a lot of confidence within this player. The fact that Pablo was able to take the free kicks and was ordered to also take the corners, Xavi Hernandez really does rely on this player because he knows that this player can make the correct decisions and does have the quality to do so. So now fast forward towards the second half of this game, and we did see Ansu Fati enter. We saw Pedri, we saw Collado, yes, of course we saw Pjanic and also Balde, but I want to focus on just Ansu, Pedri, and Collado because it's important to talk about the future. I know that many of you guys were saying that we have heard stories about Ansu Fati being very slow, that there is no improvements in terms of like his fitness. Like that was the whole story when it came to Ansu, but this game showed that Ansu is physically ready more than ever. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Pedri and Ansu look way bigger on the field. Like I have no idea what they did, but it just feels like Pedri and Ansu added more pounds within their bodies and they look much more fit. And that's very exciting to see because they are basically trying to prepare for those big games in the upcoming season. Like once they do face the Atletico Madrids, the Liverpools, Ansu and Pedri will be physically ready to combat against them physically. So again, that whole thing was just a lie, right? Like there were so many narratives, so many stories about Pedri and Ansu not improving physically, their fitness is really bad. That was all just false narratives, just like I did say in that video a couple of weeks ago. And so of course, Ansu and Pedri were the best players on the pitch. Yes, we did see Pedri on the 79th minute miss a huge chance against the goalkeeper, but besides that, Pedri was also making a lot of backheel passes, through balls, and it was very entertaining to watch. I do think that when it comes to Ansu and Pedri, these are going to be the two players mainly to lead the charge of the attack. It's going to be something that Lewandowski is going to greatly count on if he does come, right, assuming Lewandowski becomes a Barcelona player. Because if we want to see the best of Lewandowski, if we want to see Lewandowski score 1 goal every game or like 1.5 goals every game, you're gonna need Ansu Fati and Pedri to perform. These are your two players. These are going to be your two players to make things happen for this Barcelona team. If Ansu and Pedri can create, Lewandowski is going to be gelling right with them. And then when it comes to Alex Collado, you can just see that he is very eager to be effective on the right flank. The moment we saw him touch the ball in the second half, you can just see that he came in with a lot of energy, right? He looked like he always wanted to challenge the opposition. He was always dribbling. He was always trying to look for those through passes, cutting it inside, being that creator on the right flank. And you can just tell that he knows he has a point to prove. He knows that he has to show Xavi that he can be at the same quality of Dembele and Rafinha. And this is what I do mean, right? Like the fact that we saw him track back, try to regain the ball, the fact that he was also trying to create, the fact that he was also trying to score goals. This is what I do mean. Like this is why we do need many quality players within a specific position, because Collado knows that now he does have competition. Like if he wants to see minutes, he's going to have to be at the same level or maybe even better than Rafinha and Dembele. And just like I have said before, when you have this type of energy coming from a player, that is only going to benefit the team overall. So to see Collado battle it out with Rafinha and Dembele, I hope that in the end, all of these three players can succeed with this team. And so that is basically it, right? There's nothing more. Overall, it was a very solid game. You can just already tell exactly who are the ones that are going to be making it in the first team. Abde played okay. I think that when it came to his composure, he does need to get better on the ball. Casas, who was one of the center backs of FC Barcelona, made so many mistakes. I do not know what's going to be happening with him in the near future. Balde also played okay. He had a couple of moments where he was showing brilliance by taking on about 3 to 4 players on the left side. We saw Des doing okay also. And again, that's basically it. Our next game now is going to be here, right? I'm from the USA, so it's going to be here, and it's going to be a USA tour, and their next game is going to be on July 19th. And so within these 6 days before that game, expect a lot of movement, because remember, Xavi Hernandez wants to have as many players and brand new signings go into this USA tour, and one of them could be Lewandowski. So that is going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona Barcelona post-match review. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.